Most brands are still fighting for clicks, while the audience is moving on to answers. Not 10 blue links, not scroll and compare, but a single response spoken back to them, summarized on a results page, or generated inside an assistant where the user never even visits your site. That shift changes what visibility means, because if discovery becomes conversational, then content has to be extractable. If search becomes multi-surface, your message has to travel well. And if users stop clicking, you still need to win the moment where decisions get made. I'm Luke Anthony Houghton, founder of ProjektID, started in 2019, originally grounded in website work, design, and brand systems, then evolved into something more deliberate, building practical digital tools, structured workflows, and performance-first thinking that reduces friction and makes online work easier to manage. My mentality is simple. Don't guess. Build what's real. Measure what matters. Keep it usable. And ProjektID's principles follow the same logic. Digital-first thinking, tangible outcomes, and systems that are engineered to last, without noise. Now let's step into the main topic. SEO, AEO, GEO, AIO, SXO, and LLMO, and why they're not separate trends, but a ladder. Here's the framing. Discovery isn't a single channel anymore. It's not just Google. It's not just ranking. It's a mix of search, voice, AI summaries, embedded assistants, and conversational tools that decide what gets surfaced. So instead of treating optimization as one thing, treat it as a progression. SEO is the foundation. Make your site crawlable, indexable, fast, and stable. AEO is about being quote ready. Give assistants clean answers that can be lifted. GEO is about being included in generated answers. Semantic depth plus authority. AIO is how you scale production without losing structure or integrity. SXO turns attention into outcomes by making the experience match the intent. LLMO increases the odds that models name you and treat you as a reliable entity. The key idea: build extraction-ready content and prove authority. Measure beyond rankings. Watch zero-click exposure, citations, assistant mentions, sentiment, and demand lift. And don't treat content as publish and hope. Treat it like a system with governance and freshness. Quick roadmap so you know exactly where we're heading. We'll start with the shift from SEO to AI optimization, then move through SEO fundamentals and technical baselines, AEO for direct answers and voice-friendly structure, GEO for generative inclusion and citation probability, AIO for governed production, QA, and maintenance, SXO for post-click clarity, usability, and conversion, LLMO for entity strength and long-term model recognition. Then, how to measure, govern, and de-risk. And finally, a 90-day rollout roadmap you can actually execute. Here's the reality. People don't search like they used to. They ask full questions. They speak them. They paste them into assistants. They expect the answer to arrive already organized. That means your content isn't competing only to rank. It's competing to be selected, to be quoted, to be summarized without distortion, to be chosen as a source. So the first mental shift is this. Your page needs to work even when the click never happens. That's why structure matters. Definitions matter. A clean hierarchy matters. And it's why you start thinking in answer blocks, not just articles. Think of your content like it's being consumed by two readers at once, a human and a machine. Machines don't get the vibe. They extract, They tokenize, they embed, they stitch. So give them a clean layout, strong headings, compact paragraphs, lists where relationships matter, consistent language for the same concepts, and markup that reduces ambiguity. This is also where the ladder becomes real. SEO stabilizes the base, then AEO makes it quotable, then GEO pushes you into generated answers, then SXO ensures the experience doesn't leak value, and LLMO reinforces long-term recognition. SEO is still the substrate. If the foundations are weak, everything above it is unstable. So start here. Make sure crawlers can reach your pages, understand your pages, and trust your pages. That includes crawlability and indexing hygiene, core web vitals and performance stability, HTTPS consistency, canonicals where duplicates exist, sitemaps that reflect reality, and a structure that doesn't rely on heavy client rendering to reveal meaning. The goal isn't perfect SEO. The goal is predictable access and interpretation, because assistants and AI layers often inherit what crawlers can reliably retrieve. Next, shift from keywords to intent outcomes. Every page should do one primary job: explain, compare, guide, or convert. When a page tries to do everything, it becomes vague, and vagueness kills both rankings and answer selection. Then build topic clusters, a pillar page that frames the space, plus supporting pages that go deeper on sub-questions. Tie them together with deliberate internal linking so engines can understand relationships, and assistants can locate the right passage when synthesizing responses. AEO is where you stop writing like a brochure and start writing like a response. The simplest pattern works because it's extractable. 1. Ask a question in the heading. 2. Answer immediately in 40 to 70 words. 3. Add a short context paragraph. 4. Then include follow-up FAQs. This is the difference between content people read and content assistants reuse. If you want your page to be quoted accurately, give it a quote-ready block. AEO gets stronger when the structure is reinforced. FAQ, page schema, when you genuinely have Q&A. How-to schema, when you genuinely have steps. Consistent terminology, so models don't treat synonyms like separate concepts. And don't invent questions in isolation. Mine them from people also ask, internal site search, support tickets, chats, forums, and real client conversations. Then measure the right signals, not just traffic, but zero-click impressions, and whether assistants surface your phrasing, especially across tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and Perplexity. GEO is about one thing: being trustworthy enough to be selected as a source. Generated answers compress the journey. They collapse discovery into one response. So, the fight becomes, who gets referenced inside the synthesis? To win that, your content needs semantic depth, clean definitions, explicit constraints, examples that reduce ambiguity, consistent entities, names, metrics, units, versions, and sections that don't float without context. You're not writing to impress, you're writing to reduce misinterpretation. Structure content so it can be lifted cleanly. TL, DR blocks, comparison tables with stable labels, bullets for sequences, short paragraphs that carry one idea. Then build authority beyond your site. GEO relies on corroboration. Mentions and citations across reputable places, especially where your audience already learns, help models treat you as safer to reference. And finally, prompt test like it's QA. Ask the same topic in multiple assistants. Log whether you're cited. If you're misquoted or ignored, tighten the block, add missing context, and retest. AIO is not generate content faster. AIO is systemized production, repeatable structure, governed quality, and controlled risk. Use AI for discovery, outlining, first draft structure, and then apply human judgment where it matters. Originality, accuracy, trade-offs, boundary conditions, and evidence that assistants can trust. A draft that sounds polished but lacks verifiable signal doesn't hold up in generative discovery. AIO becomes powerful when you automate the boring and scrutinize the risky. Automate schema validation, broken link detection, thin content flags, outdated claims alerts, and cluster internal linking suggestions. Then apply governance to long-tail scaling. Programmatic content can work, but only when uniqueness is enforced, duplication is controlled, canonical rules are respected, samples are reviewed, and prompt tests confirm assistants aren't misrepresenting it. The goal is scale without index bloat and without credibility drift. SXO is the glue between being found and being useful. When someone lands on a page, you have seconds to confirm they're in the right place. The page understands their question. And the next step is obvious. Match the wording users searched, mirror their intent, state the outcome early, reduce cognitive load, make the page feel inevitable. After you answer, don't leave people stranded. Offer a clear next sensible step based on the user stage. Learn deeper, compare options, implement, or purchase. Then measure experience truthfully. Scroll depth, time on key sections, click maps, form completion, replays for friction signals, and A/B tests that prove what actually improves outcomes. Taste is not data. SXO is where you stop guessing. LLMO is where you optimize for recognition, not just retrieval. Start by reinforcing identity, organization, and person schema. Consistent naming of products and concepts. Same as connections where appropriate. And stable IDs, so systems don't fragment who you are. Then publish assets with high information gain. Work that adds net new signal, real examples, decision frameworks, case notes, benchmarks, methods, limitations. Models don't just want summaries. They want sources that feel safe to reuse. LLMs learn from patterns across the open web, citations, co-mentions, and repeated association. So earn mentions in places that matter, industry publications, reputable directories, expert roundups, collaborations, where your entity gets reinforced consistently. Then measure differently. Test prompts. Log whether you're named, linked, paraphrased, or ignored. Capture sentiment and context. Track branded demand lift after assets and mentions land. You're monitoring whether models are forming the association you want. Now we pull it together. You need one view that combines classic SEO metrics with AI era signals, rankings, CTR, conversions, plus citations, mentions, placement context, and sentiment where possible. Segment by cluster and intent so you can see what's actually working and what's only visible without impact. This is where professional systems separate from casual publishing. Govern, terminology, tone and reading level, accessibility basics, localization consistency, and freshness, SLAs. Add review gates for high-risk pages. Require second-person checks. Maintain change logs. Keep structured data aligned with visible content. Because if assistants paraphrase you, the best defense is clarity plus structure plus consistency. Weeks 1 and 2 are about truth, not opinions. Audit, crawl/index health, canonicals and duplicates, schema validity, core web vitals baselines, and current assistant visibility. Map your key URLs to intent and entity. Build an entity ledger. And snapshot where assistants currently cite you, so improvement later is measurable. Weeks 3 to 4, tighten vitals and implement AEO patterns on priority pages. Weeks 5 to 8, publish GEO clusters with strong definition blocks, comparisons, and liftable sections. Add targeted outreach for credible mentions. Weeks 9 to 12, run SXO experiments and install an AIO refresh loop so quality doesn't decay. Ongoing monthly prompt tests, quarterly authority maker assets. The compounding effect comes from repetition, structure, clarity, evidence, and consistent reinforcements. Quick note, the concepts in this guide are influenced by a mix of industry research and current commentary across SEO and AI search. The reference list includes sources discussing LLMO, GEO, AEO, and SXO, plus practical technical SEO material and developer-focused breakdowns. For the actual list, refer to the references page in the document. So the takeaway is this. Optimization isn't a single tactic anymore. It's a ladder. Start with the base, technical SEO and clean intent mapping. Then build quote-ready answers. Then engineer semantic depth for generated discovery. Use AI as a governed pipeline, not a shortcut. Make the experience frictionless. And strengthen your entity so models learn to name you with confidence. If you're building for the future, build for where discovery is going, and build it in a way that stays honest, structured, and measurable. Thanks for listening. If you want to explore ProjektID, our tools, and how we think about practical digital systems, you can use Core for instant help or reach out through the contact page.